Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Rocky from Paw Patrol. For this tutorial, for this pattern, you're going to need a loom in the standard offset configuration with your middle row raised just above the other two. You're going to need green for the hat, backpack, and body. And I used a light green here. I'm going to use a dark green here, and then you can see it both ways. We have 3 blue bands for the belt, gray for the body, so that's the arms, legs, face. For your nose, you can use a black band or a black bead or a darker gray. For the ears, we've got a little bit of pink. You'll be needing some white and 1 orange band for the collar. I'm using a darker orange, but you can use a dark or a light. And for the eyes, I initially used 2 very large round beads. This time I'm going to use 2 small pony beads. You can use bands, beads, whatever you like. In my case, I'm going to be using a black permanent marker and brown permanent marker when I make the pupils. And the only other things you'll need are a C-clip, a hook, and a pair of scissors. Ooh, and I will suggest a piece of dental floss or some invisible thread. And that will help us thread our beads and attach our charm if you have a charm that you would like to use here or here. So without further ado, let's make our arms and legs together. They're all the same, but I will make them with you. We have 3 whites. You can use 2, I'm using 3. We're going to wrap them onto the hook once, twice, and pull it onto 2 whites. Slide them all on top, replace, and this will go on to 3 sets of double gray bands. And we need a total of 4, so let's make our second one. 3 white, wrapped once, twice, pulled on to 2 white bands, pulled on to 3 sets of double grays. And we repeat this all 2 more times. Last one more to go. Our next part, our ears. I'm using one of Kate Schultz's techniques and doing this the way that that she and I do a lot of our boots. And that way we get control over how much pink is in the yellow and we get it to stay in the middle. We take a single gray band, wrap it tight, 1, 2, 3, 4, pull it onto 2 gray bands. And we're going to slide this to the middle, keep one side on the hook and hold it so that we have a little tension. I'm just pinching it here. Take 4 pink bands, put them on the hook, pull tight, twist once, twist twice, put your other gray back, and we're going to slide this onto 2 more gray. You can see my pieces are already shifting around, so we're going to have to straighten that in just a minute. If you can get them on in order, that's even better, but if not, we put the other end back And we pinch our grays and we pull them over the side until the pink is right in the middle. Pop it through. And that's going to be one of our ears. And we'll make another one the same way. Take a single, wrap it tight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull it onto 2 grays. Oops. Try that again. Slide it to the middle, pinch, and add 4 bands of pink. 1 twist, 2 twists. Put your other end back, and we're going to put another 2 gray through all of those bands. This time we kept it in order. And that is all set. We're gonna get our, well, we'll do our face pieces when we get there. Let's start on our loom now. And we're gonna begin at the top with some white. So take 2 white bands and bring them from your top center to your top right. 2 white bands from the top center to the top left. Come down once on each row with double whites. This is going to be for the top of the baseball cap. And bring in 2 white bands from the second center to the second right, 2 from the second center to the second left. And we're going to come down with gray bands on the sides once, double bands, and in the center 2 times. Starting at the second in the center and coming down. Close it up, 2 bands from the third right to the fourth center, 2 from the third left to the fourth center. And 2 more gray bands coming from the fourth to the fifth in the center, and that's going to be our little neck piece. We're going to put our orange band on the 4th peg down. Wrap it 2 times. Alright, let's add our ears at the top. We'll do that first. Do that now. Just get it out of our way so that when we're looping it'll be one less thing. And press your pink through to the middle again. You can always adjust this a little more after too, so don't worry about it too much. And then we're going to put the other ear on, and we'll start on our body and come back and finish the facial features shortly. Okay, let's come down to the side with double green bands from your 5th center down diagonally to your 5th on either side. Repeat for the other side. We come down 3 times on either side with double green bands and 4 times in the middle, but we will have one more piece to add here, so just hang on. 2, 3, come down 3 times, and then we're going to put our tail on the 4th piece. So get your hook, take a white band and wrap it onto your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a white, stretch it out, double it over, and pull the wrapped band off of your hook and onto your doubled over white. Make sure you get all the pieces and replace. And then we're going to put this onto 2 greens. So single, double it over, and a second one. Take it and double it over. You can make this longer if you want, or leave it really, really short. It's up to you. Oh, what am I saying? This should be gray. Oh. Let's take off your greens for a second. I've got it matching his little outfit, which would be cute, but not so accurate. So that was a white wrapped, pulled onto a doubled over white, and then we've got 2 doubled over grays. I'm sorry about that. 1 and 2. And this is going to go onto 2 greens, and they will close up the rest of that center on the body. So bring it down, and we're just going to kind of press the tail back, and it will sit on the back once we're done. Take 2 green bands, come from your 8th peg down on the side, inwards to the middle, and that's your 8th center peg too. From the opposite side, same thing, and we're going to do a cap band in the last center one. 2, 3, tighter if you want, 3 is good enough. Put your arms on your 5th pegs down on either side, and your legs on the 8th. So these are the first and last pegs on which we're using our green bands. And we are going to need holding bands, but before we do, let's set up our blue. We're going to pop off this last green band on the side for a minute, wrap our blue on 1, 2 times, put your greens back, do the same on the left side, pull it off, 1, 2, put those back, and in the middle, I'm just going to hold this because it has the tail, lift, blue, wrap, once and twice. And if you don't want to have a belt, you don't have to do this part, but this gives him his little blue belt. Put that back. We're going to put a holding band just under the arm, bring it across in a triangle formation, and we will be placing one along here. We're just going to let it sit for the moment, and we want one on the pegs that have the legs and the one above it in the center. I'm going to slide this under the legs just so it's out of the way. For our face, we're going to do our nose piece. I'm using a band this time, a bead this time. You can use a black band wrapped 3 times. To thread a bead onto a band, if you have a bead with a small hole, you take your piece of dental floss or wire, thread it through a gray, and thread it back. And I'm going to put this onto, I'm going to show you the band way separately, but I'm going to take a couple of grays and wrap them. Let's do 3 grays, 2 grays. Wrap them on the hook 3 times. Put this back, and I'm going to slide these all onto a single gray. And then I'll show you how to do it if you want to do it with the band. So it's actually a little bit easier with the band, but this is okay too. This is just going to be a little shinier. And it goes onto your 3rd peg and your 3rd peg. Just like so. If you're doing it with bands, you'll take your nose color, your black or dark gray, wrap it 3 times and pull it onto 3 or 4 grays. And in my case, I used 5 grays. I thought it was a little bit lumpy. I'm going to do this on 3. And you can decide how thick you want it to be. And this goes onto a single gray band. And just as with the bead, this will go from your 3rd peg to your 3rd peg, and you can sort of stretch it out, space it out. Okay, 3rd peg. I think I like the way it looks with the band better, but I'm gonna do it this way, and you can see what it's like both ways. Alright, for our eyes, if you have beads with a really small hole, you can use the dental floss or a thin wire again. If you have beads with a larger hole, you can put them right on your hook, and the same if you're using bands, wrap your bands 3 times each. This will go onto a gray band, and we place it across the second pegs down on either side, separate, and pull one piece of that band under the third peg in the middle. We're going to put one holding band just on the piece that has the nose here. So it's going to go on the third pegs down and over the third center. And we're going to make some little whiskers. This is what you need the scissors for. You're going to take a single band and you're going to take 2 more bands. Take your single and slide it through the 2 and pull one end over the other to create a slip knot. And this is going to go across your third pegs down, so all the way across. And make sure that this is tied on tight. You're just going to snip the bands. And there you have your whiskers. If you want it thicker, you can add, have 3 or more. And we'll do the same for the other side. 2 bands. Slide your other band through and pull one end over the other to make a slip knot. This is easier to do without the hook, actually. I thought it would make it easier to show you, but it's easier to do without the hook, I think. And this one is going to point to the right. And again, you can just trim those, and you can trim them afterwards if you'd rather, but you can do it now too, it's fine. We are going to add on our hat hem, this piece, after the fact, as well as our charm and our backpack. So we have everything else that we need to start looping up. Alright, go under your cap band at the bottom and find your top 2 bands and bring them up and to the left. Find the next 2, bring them up and to the right, and your last 2 are going to come up straight. Now in the middle we have our blue band here, and you're going to take your hook, bring it under your green with the open part pointed down, catch your blue and lift it up and over the bands on that peg. Now on either side, you'll loop up 1 time. You're going for the bottom 2 green. So push back everything else and catch those and loop up. Same on the other side. And we're going to reach on the side, go under the green, same as the middle, have your hook pointed down, and you're going to grab up the 3 blue, because we twisted it twice. You can do it one at a time or all 3 together. Lift it up and over. And we repeat on the right side. Feel free to pause your video if you need an extra minute here. And we need to put our holding band in. So we're going to lift up the top 2 bands on the side and pull that holding band over. Replace and do the same on the other side. Top 2 and get that band in. And for the rest of our body, we're just going to loop straight. So I'm going to come up the sides, catch the green diagonal band from under the arms and bring that inwards. Repeat on the right side. And loop straight up the center. So go back to where that blue was. And it looks like I missed one. I'm gonna just make sure I've got them all on. There. Loop straight and loop the first gray when you get to it as well. That's on your 5th peg down in the center. And that's under all of the grays. Now we're going to reach under the top 4 grays, so bring these up if you need to. Get the orange and bring it over all of your connecting neck pieces. If that's too hard, just bring it over the front ones. And if that's really, really too hard, you can pop the orange off and twist it over the head like so when all is said and done. We're gonna loop up our face. So get under the neck piece, find your top 2, and bring them to the right, and just pop it over the whiskers. Find your next 2 and bring them to, oh, looks like mine were coming from the left. Oops. I'm not sure why I'm fumbling about here so much today, but we'll get this done. Maybe it's just I've been looming for like a good hour already. Sometimes things get a little blurified. I'm gonna move the nose up and loop up once in the middle. I'm also a little bit sick again. That might have to do with the fuzzy brain too. Pull your nose back over. This will be easier if you do it with all the bands. You can see mine's a little bit funny with the bead here. Push back the eyepiece and loop up one more time in the middle. Stop at the white. Loop up once on either side. Bottom grays only. And there should be 2. And we push back the eyepiece and take the top whites, bring them to the center. Come up once more on either side, pushing back the pieces that hold the eyes. We're going to loop into the center, get your bottom 2 whites and bring them up and over. And do not forget to loop up the center that last time before securing. I'm going to do that in just a second here. Take a white or 2 if you want it to be a little extra secure. Put it on your fingers, and you're going to take your hook, point it the open part away, slide it through the bands on the top center peg, make sure it goes through all. Catch up that band and leave a little tension on it as you slide it back through. Place the other end on and pull one side over the other to create a slip knot. Carefully remove this all from your loom. Alright, put your nose into position and pop your eyes through to the front. Hide your securing band under a couple of bands at the back and put it onto a C-clip. If you are, well, let's put our eyes on first. We'll draw our eyes because that's quick and easy. I'm going to use, as I said, a bit of brown and a bit of black. This is what I did on my Zuma. So you can pick the color of your choice, really, and just black is fine too. I'm putting some black on top of my brown. You can angle the eyes the way that you want. We're going to do the charm next because it's easier to put that on before the backpack. If you have a bead that you want to use for a charm, or you just want to thread some bands on, what you can do is get it onto a band. And actually, this kind of a bead you don't really need to. We're just gonna put a piece of floss or invisible thread right through the bead, put it in the center and tie a knot, double knot it if you like, and put it around the neck where you'd like it to sit and tie it on at the back. I'm going to do 3 knots. 1, 2, and 3. Put the bead where you want it to sit, and you're gonna trim your dental floss. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. Well, I'll get this out of the way. Ideally, your knot will be more towards the back and it isn't gonna show up. And if it does a little bit, you can make it a little bit shorter here, or take it off and do it again. For our backpack, we'll do that next. Green bands. 2 from the top center to the top right, 2 top center to the top left, come down twice on each row, double bands. Come in from the third pegs on the side to the third peg on the center, and we're going to put a holding triangle just across the second pegs and cap off that bottom, that third in the middle. You can do it a little bit tightly here if you want, or leave it a little loose. I'm just going to wrap 2 times. Get under the holding band and loop out to the left. Hold that holding band in place, don't let it fall off. Come in again and get the next 2, which are going to the right, and loop up all of the rows straight to the top. And come inwards diagonally. You can see my band slipping, but I'm not worried because they are already looped in place. And if you ever do find you have a loose band, this is a reasonably small section. You can redo it, or you can pull your band in and tighten it up from the finished product. Put your hook through and secure. Pop this off the loom. And you're gonna get kind of a floppy piece here. That's okay. Here we go. You can take your hook and pull your securing band under some of the bands on the top of the back. And we're gonna go through the side and the side of the backpack, pull that band through. Get another band if you want, or pop this on a C-clip, and we're just going to keep coming around and securing that on. I'm using the same band here and it's working just fine, or you can add a second one. And this goes on a C-clip when you're all ready. I'm just going to pop this over for now, and that will work out okay too, actually. I slid it just on top. And the only thing that remains to be done is the little piece for the head. For that, we're using some doubled over bands. We're going to start with a single, wrap it tight, at least twice. You can do it 3 times, it's fine, because we are going to pull it through. And we're going to go with doubled over singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You can make it longer if you want, or shorter. I'm doing it a little bit extra long so that it will kind of puff out a bit. We're going to take a single band and pull it through. And you can loop one side over the other. And we're going to find a spot on the side of the head, just in this gray part here. where you'd like one end to sit and slide your single band through. And we're going to catch it on the other side. I'm just going to hold on to this green band at the back for the moment, or you can put it in the C-clip, or you can leave it where it is. But I'm going to go through on the opposite side. This is the back you're looking at. And I'm going to go through, here, we'll do it from this side. That way you can see a little better. We're going to go through those green bands that we used at the start of our hat piece, and then pop it through a couple of bands on the side of the body of the head where you want it to sit. Pull that green band through from the other side and pop this onto your C-clip. And I'm going to show you one trick if you want your hat to be a little thicker and a little less round. You want that extra edge. And this is what you're going to do, and it is a little bit tricky but not impossible. You're going to decide where you want the round piece to start. Put your hook under 2 of the bands in that part. So if I want it to start getting rounder, wider here, then that's where I would go. Take a single green, double it over, and slide it through, and catch another 2 bands on the next part of your headpiece. Put the other end back on. Get another doubled over piece or another doubled over single, slide it through, and I'm going to do this 1 or 2 more times just to show you how we would finish this off here. So under another 2, put the other piece on, and when you decide it's at the point that you like, what you can do is take a single band, slide it through, pull one end over the other, and weave this in until it goes to the back, and you can put it on a C-clip at the back. Now another thing, whether or not you've chosen this method, I'm just going to pop this off so you can see this a little bit better here. You can see this is kind of flipping about. If it's standing out too much for your liking, you can put your hook through from the back, grab a green band from the headpiece, and figure out where you'd like it to sit. Take another green, pull it through, put the other end on, pull one under the other, and pull to the back. And this will help it to sit more in place. You can even secure it in a couple of places if you want. And if your whiskers are too far back, you can pop them under a couple of the frontal bands, and that will help them to stand out more. So there is Rocky. Zuma is out, and I hope to get some more tutorials for you soon when I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you for watching.